Oh man. Thank you, cousin Dungle. Thank you for teaching me the excellent ways of the fucking grapefruit technique.
What in the fuck are you on about? What
What
are
do you
you
mean?
doing with exotic fruits?
Oh, you mean that wasn't you who was in your chambers?
Are you saying all
Oh,
Druki look alike?
uh, yes. You are all inferior, therefore you all look the same to me. You know, weren't born on the donut, therefore why do you have any rights beyond, just me aware of your existence?
Right, High Elf Absentee, because you're the one who be making such claims. Anyway,
Fuck you! Fucking second
other
son
than
of a
covering
curse.
the Phoenix Throne in fruit juices, what have you been up to, kin?
Oh, I've just been well, mostly haggling with Skaven and maybe committing some light arson and potential trickery. I think I actually started a civil war in Uthwan and also abroad, but we'll get to that later. Um, but where's my stout and heightened paired ally and comrade in the tavern? Last I heard,
I
he was
am.
somewhere in your care, and that has led me
What?
to be concerned for his well-being.
What do you mean somewhere in my care?
Look,
Uh, wait, is he in my chambers? For the love of all that is holy and unholy, get
oh,
out of there!
did you not gag him?
No, because I don't think I put him in there. Get out of there, you stupid!
Oh, hang on. I think he's naked.
Okay, what are you doing in there, Gerald?
You don't want to know. Just welcome the listeners to the tavern, and let's get this episode
Did
going.
I not specifically tell you to
Oh,
stay out of my quarters at all costs?
oh my goodness. We'll just let you guys go there. Hello, welcome to Grim Lore, your place for all your grim dark sci-fi and fantasy needs. I'm your host, Rayway, and the naked dwarf in the corner is Gerald. We will try to find something for him. And Dungle,
There
do you have
were
anything? Do you have
there
anything he can
were
wear?
there were so many things in there.
Listen, I'm not going to disclose what was in there because you should not know what is in there.
Goodness. Uh, Goddamn Druki.
Listen, when it comes to there, what you don't know really won't hurt you.
Oh no. I don't know. I don't know. There are some things that I don't know about that would still definitely hurt me in this situation. So you know what? Let's just step away from the we'll say the not safe for work chambers, and we'll get somewhere safe, and hopefully we can
What do
get
you
to a
mean?
more.
What do you mean not safe for? That is my work.
You know what? Good point. Good point. You know what? Actually, you know what? While we're here, if anyone needs anything, we'll say not conspicuous, feel free to contact my cousin. I'm sure he'll get anything you need, regardless of the list of details required to get your hands on them.
Indiscreet brown paper packaging.
Exactly. Can never go wrong with that. Also, by the way, I seem to be missing my warp some stash. Has anyone seen that?
Are you sure you didn't get rid of it all by using it?
No, I feel like I remember using it.
I might have had something to do with that.
What? No, wait, hang on. This is not a good. This is not good. You know that helped me. That's for that's my
I
medication.
Ray, look at me, look at me, look at me. Do I look like the kind of dwarf that would take warpstone?
You look like you'd be a
Uh
lot of things right now. Personally, I wouldn't ask
you
that
you you
question.
definitely can be. I would not be surprised if you were given warp stone while you were in his chambers. Completely honestly, that would be the least shocking event of tonight. Honestly,
Did you have any
Okay,
wine?
no,
Okay. Did you have any of the beer?
maybe.
Ah,
Look, I got your letter, and then
you disregarded it.
One of Warper's changelings was on fire.
And let it burn.
I was trying to make sure he didn't disrupt whatever was in there.
If you had
I
just
think
left
it
the
just
door
made it
closed, if you left the
Oh.
door closed, nothing would have happened.
Well, if we would have left the door closed, whatever was in there would have been Dungle's problem. So realistically,
Betsy
either
would have eaten it.
honestly, speaking of eating, I think
Where's
we
the
need to
bed
find our
sit?
fucking Croxagore ally.
Is Fuzz still here?
Yeah, I'm still down here.
Can you
Oh.
give me a beer? Like a lot of it? Nah, actually, take that back. Give me the strongest whiskey you got. And yeah, I need an emotional support lizard in here.
Lizard.
Yeah, lizard. Lizard.
Oh, Gerald, you look rough. I'm glad that I brought the whole pint of whiskey for you. I'd take this.
Thank you. Nom, 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 nom.
See, I enjoy the fact the whiskey barrel is about as is just as thick as his dick. I appreciate that. Thank you, Fuzz.
Why?
Why?
Look, someone had to
Again,
say it.
why?
No,
Someone
I don't
had
think
to say
anyone
it.
had to say. We were all thinking it, but no one had to say.
How? Mm.
Meaty.
Fine dwarven stock.
That's the only credit the dwarves are getting this episode. I want to make that perfectly clear for everyone tonight.
Fair enough. I assume
I'll
we're
take it.
back in. I assume we're back in the wonderful world of Warhammer Fantasy for this one.
We definitely are.
Where did you go before?
Uh the place where they get ammo for swords for some reason.
Oh, wonderful. Where I got my wonderful shoot stunner.
Whatever you say. I mean, we're busy dealing with the cabal because fuck those assholes, but we're not.
Yep.
They're gone. They are gone.
And the Covenant, a bunch of Deus Volt bullshit.
This one was such a. This one was a topic I was very excited for. All right. So, just a little shout out. This topic was decided by two people, both of which will remain nameless because, well, just because. Don't need to shut them out, but they really both
are.
Yeah, you guys know who you are. You guys literally like you guys asked for this episode. Two people specifically, completely unrelated, completely
I thought-
unconnected.
I thought it was 3.
Maybe it was 3.
You,
It could be-
yourself, and thy.
Ah, no, that's only when I use my executive powers granted me by the Senate to take control, but that's not gonna happen just yet.
That's when does it not happen?
When I'm not on my warpstone benders, most
I
likely.
saw the executive pizza order from Tilia. You're not fooling me.
That was a work expense. That was a work expense.
Right.
Yes, 20,000 pizzas from Tilia to Uthwan delivery right now. Name is Seymour Butts. Oh.
Oh, I thought the name would be Otto Stoffer, but you know.
I would be a good Phoenix King. I would make sure the trains ran on time.
Hashtag don't cancel us. YouTube.
YouTube's algorithm isn't that intelligent, trust me. If anything, it might give. In fact, we might have a broader audience if I say that. Oh my goodness. All right. So yes, two people suggested this on like again, totally separate occasions. So this is awesome. I'm happy that I got to do this. Today we're gonna be covering the true hippie tree huggers of the old world. Good fucking title, Jill. I fucking love that one. We're gonna
You're
be
welcome.
doing that was awesome title. I fucking love it. Because tree hugger is a fucking title they have. But yeah, we're gonna be covering the wood elves, otherwise known as the Azrai. A couple other names, obviously, is tree huggers, pointy ears, them, elves and the tree people, and Treef, as Flub has taken to call me, even though I'm not a fucking Azrai.
But the thing is, you live as one with your Druki sorceress wife.
All right. So hang on, before we fully get started though, let me ask you guys, if for those of you who, when I say wood elves, what do you guys think of when I say wood elves? Like just go around the tavern, starting with Gerald. What are your thoughts when I say wood elves?
Uh, Lots of tree stuff, bows and arrows, lots of leaf clothing. Uh, yeah,
Leaf. Very good. The crux to grow in the room.
My thoughts usually go to the Bosmer of Elder Scrolls and the Green
Ooh,
Pact.
good fucking. I like that one. That's gonna be relevant. Specifically, the Green Pact is gonna be relevant. So just
Hell
keep
yeah.
that, give that a little thumbtack in your head for yourself. Good job. Here's a squirrel. My
Oh, yeah.
cousin. What are your thoughts on
A
our
bunch of
naked?
liver-lilied, tree-hugging, dandelion-eating knife-eared pricks.
Thank you, thank you. I wasn't gonna say it, but
it
I
seems
was
the
also gonna,
Druki has thoughts on this matter.
I
I was gonna
grow
say
tired of them.
I was gonna say schizophreniacs, but what you said also works. No, sorry, bipolar schizophreniacs actually. And the next dwarf in our chamber, Fuzz. What are your thoughts on what do you think when I say wood elves?
So my brain goes to two other kind of like with Toasty going to Bosmer, both the wood elves from like Tolkien, and then also wood elves from my many years playing EverQuest. So like tree cities, very kind of like what Gerald was saying, very naturey, um, yeah, very like rangerish.
Yeah, those are all appropriate. Those are all appropriate descriptions of the Azrai of wood elves for Warmer Fantasy as well. Especially Dungal, who would you like to go just a little more in depth onto your personal hatred on them? Because my personal hatred is specifically the fact that they're a little confused. You know, one day they're your buddy, the next day they start killing like 10,000 of you.
They're just
But yeah,
you, but worse.
yeah, yeah, and
Oh,
then there's
look, I've gone from being high and mighty with maybe some argument. Maybe. Still not as good as us, mind you. However, now all of a sudden, you're licking woad, you're smoking toad, and you're more worst of all, sucking on tree knot. Utterly
it's
ridiculous.
and don't even get me started on their views. See,
Trees
for
are meant
me,
to be used for lumber, not to be worshipped. It's ridiculous.
oh, hang on, I think I hear Dorothy with this and screaming bloody vengeance.
Oh, good. Let him scream. Let's see him get in a boat.
Gets in a fucking galleon. These were my brothers.
Good. I'll go ahead and I'll overwater him and ruin his soil, and he can cry about it and die.
I appreciate the Dorothy slander. I like him, but I appreciate Dorothy slander as well.
We are the forest, head ass. Get out of here.
I didn't like Treebeard in Tolkien's universe. I don't like you.
They do very
How
much
dare you?
like they do very much strike me as like the most Tolkien-esque of like the three main elves in Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
So
They are. They also they have some like very similar to what Toasty and Fuzz were saying with the Green Pact. Almost Toasty. There's a lot of stuff behind there where it's like, oh, because like I'll make the joke that they're bipolar schizophreniacs, because like that's a how do I put this? That's how a lot of people in the setting, in the universe, kind of view them. Like how me and Douglas are presenting them is a very common viewpoint on the Azrai for like to say that you would have a broad spectrum of opinions on the wood elves is a very how to put this common thing in the warm fantasy world, because like there are some people that don't even know the wood elves are even real. Like for some people, like in communities, they're just like elves in the trees. Elves don't live in the trees. You fucking crazy. Like they doubt they even they doubt the even capacity of the wood elves' existences. But then there are those who do know about them and are just like, don't trust them, don't make deals with them. They're shady folk. They almost have this like I put this a lot of people who know about them know of them. They don't know them directly. And so because of this, a lot of what you know is very how to put this like exaggerated. It's told through like you know about them through like secondhand and tertiary sources, and it's almost always like twisted and made like exaggerated or made worse by those like retelling of those events.
No, I don't
It's,
think. I think it's pretty accurate. I don't think there's any slander. I mean, really. Oh, look, we're putting soggy bints with swords into water and Bretonia. Oh, look, all of a sudden they have chivalry. Ridiculous.
yeah, Bretonia is full of horse fuckers, so like their opinions don't
Horse
matter.
fuckers tricked by elven goddesses.
Look, don't say that too loud, okay? Look, I don't need that fucking Bretonian knight busting in here one more time, right? But I'm just saying, you are fully correct. uh, but yes, so so that's in a way that's kind of like how people would view them. They would view the Azrael elves with very like you either don't know about them, if you do know about them, your knowledge is pretty limited. But they are but to give them a little bit of respect, to give them a little bit like depth to them, the Azrai are probably one of the most distinct like sub factions of the elves, and in most cases, at least by their own, according to them, and I could kind of agree with them. I kind of agree with their viewpoints. At least, like I can see the logic behind it. They're the least of their three sub races to be corrupted by chaos. Like to them, yeah, the Dark Elves obviously worship chaos and the darker version and the underworld pantheon of the elves, right? They have their pantheons and they do worship chaos to an extent. But even to the Wood Elves, the Azrai, the High Elves are also corrupted by chaos, but they're not corrupted by chaos in the way that the Dark Elves or the people of Norska are. Because according to the Azrai, according to the Wood Elves, the High Elves are corrupted by chaos in that they are driven to fight it. That just the very act of fighting chaos, of basically sacrificing yourself, of committing effort to fight against chaos is effectively giving chaos not so much what it wants, but you are putting instead of putting your intentions, your effort into say improving your society, in bettering yourself, in effectively developing the culture and mindset and the strong sense of will that could push back chaos on a metaphysical way. The high elves, because of their skills and their experience in fighting chaos, and they're almost like not so much air it's kind of arrogance, their desire to basically like, hey, the empire's under attack, send 20 fleets of high elves to go help the empire. Like, yeah, you guys aren't asking for help, but we're going to help save the world anyway, kind of thing. And it's that notion that
Hero
it's that no
complex.
it's not so much a complex, but it's more the fact that like you guys are wasting your effort fighting chaos. You guys are leaving your homeland. You guys are sacrificing thousands, tens of thousands, in some cases millions of elves to fight chaos.
Honestly, good. We need less of them.
Agreed.
You're you're just saying that because you're a fucking drookie. Our race is a dying fucking like if we lose a million, we're not in a good spot.
Yeah, that third
Good.
could be even more of a dying race.
Good.
I mean, I'm gonna get to a point in the Azrael story where we did get where we did get fucking pretty close to extinction. So like, look, I don't like joking about our near death. Okay, we're fucking.
I absolutely love joking about our near death.
My man's probably responsible for a quarter of it.
You bet. But only
Yeah,
if
he's a
you resist.
fucking
If you come willingly, you don't die. At first.
at first. So yes,
That's comforting.
so that's the Wood Elves for like. Am I crazy in seeing the logic behind it, or do you guys also recognize like their viewpoint
Well,
in viewing the desire to combat chaos as in and of itself being seduced by chaos?
Well, it's
Like
like
that's
you're so hell bent on fighting it, you're essentially bringing attention to it, which is what chaos wants slash needs, because it needs people to follow it or it needs people to believe in it. Right? Am I making any sense?
basically yeah.
well, I mean, Corn's
Okay, that
whole
makes
shit is, oh, look, go fight and have fun.
Good times.
Don't get me wrong, they fuck up half of it. They don't have fun, but they do fight.
I
You
have plenty of fun.
Too much fun, some would say.
But you're not a liver lily dandelion eater now, are you, Toasty?
I mean, I've been known to have a dandelion or two, but lily livered, never.
Delivered. Hey now, hang on. The chances of Toasty having encountered the Azrai is honestly pretty fucking likely. So for all we know, he could be a fucking wood elf in disguise.
That's hearsay.
Ooh, actually, okay, you know what? I'm gonna say fucking something that's gonna piss off Flub because you know what? Yeah, fucking bring the Bretonian Knight. Let's do this. This is unrelated, but kind of related. Some Azrai, some Wood Elves will get basically forest spirits. I'll get them in a second. Just everyone, bear with me on this, okay? They'll get basically dryads, and these dryads can glamour themselves or polymorph themselves to take on human appearances. And what they'll do is they will trick like maidens and ladies in waiting, like Bretonian ladies in waiting, to like basically go missing, to go for a walk in their garden and disappear, and then get replaced with one of these dryad women, like that looks like them, and they will then marry or like seduce. I say seduce, like a Bretonian knight or someone of importance,
So they
and
turn into
basically.
horses.
And then make him suck roots.
Well, I mean, he's gonna be sucking something. He's a Bretonian knight, of course. He's gotta get
Hey,
that back horse
Fuzz.
somehow.
Yeah,
Hey, Fuzz. Get your
Yeah.
apprentices to get the doors off the hinges so Flub doesn't bust the door open.
will do.
Thank you.
So yeah, and they will actually basically convince, they'll like seduce them. They'll like honeypot them into not doing certain things or into doing certain things because like in their minds like, well, we could fight the Bretonians, but like all they want is chivalry and some maiden and a maiden to like protect. They basically want they want to play the game of being a hero. So let's give them all the trappings of a hero and even a quest to fight. Like the Bretonians are fucking getting manipulated by the Azrai. So it's like, oh, Sir Knight, please, there's orcs in that forest over there. But make sure to stay out of that part of the forest and just this part, and just attack the orcs in this part of the forest. And the Bretonian knight who's fucking just like, yes, my lady, I'll fucking do that. And he just killed the orc warband that the wood elves didn't even want to deal with themselves because like it's over there, like
Fucking goaded strategy.
yeah. Oh, and sometimes I'm not really sure how this works because, like, I'm not really too sure on the procreation limits. But sometimes the 20 Knights will have children with these dryads, right? And the dryads will just steal them away. So, like, that's kind of fucked up. But, like, for all we know, those babies could just be glamours. Like, they could just be illusions. The dryads are like the dryads could be pretending to be pregnant
Okay.
women Yeah.
Oh, as for the limit, that's the stamina of the knight.
Gotta push it to the limit.
Oh, but let's cover a little bit more about the Azrai outside of their really goaded honeypot strategies in order to get Bretonian Frenchmen to do all the dirty work. Um, so the Azrai are actually like okay, where the Dark Elves are located on Nagaroth, and the High Elves are on Uthlon on the Magic Space on the Magic Donut. The Azrai can be located all across the known world. Like there are some colonies that can be located in Nagaroth's northern mountains, and then there are some that can be found in Cathay's southern jungles. So that's just how far apart they can be located. Like they can be anywhere on the world. And to a point, these are like while they are on opposite sides of the planet, their culture is still fairly like homogenous and unified.
They speak through the trees.
Kind
The
of, yeah.
Lorax.
We'll get to that in a second. But the highest concentration of Azerite colonies is in oh my goodness, I'm gonna fucking suck pronouncing this in Elfin Aryan. Fucking hang on, let me just fucking
That's a word.
You
so it
just said
is I'll fucking write in chat Elfin Aryan. And this goes by another name. Elfin Aryan is the name of the old world. So from Tilia all the way to northern Kislev, that whole chunk of the old world that predominantly has the Empire and most of the human nations, that those lands are called Elfin Aryan, and that is where the highest concentration of wood elves is located currently in the year, I believe, what is it? In the current era of Warhammer Fantasy.
It's like 2503 or something like that.
That's
I
the
guess
that's
that
Godric
was
and Felix, but Godric and Felix happens a little like a couple years before the end times, which I think is like I don't want to say 2525 because that's fucking that makes me think of Halo, but like it's in the 2500s for sure. All right. So, but yeah, now again, while these regions that are so distinctly divided, like again, opposites of the world, they do share like a number of features that are unified, like a number of unifying qualities, but they are also different. Like they, like I shouldn't say that they're all one for one, because they are like their own distinct cultures and they have their own distinct environments and like surroundings. Because again, the lands, but the lands that are like, let's say in Nagaroth and the lands that are in Southern Cathay, they're going to have some similarities, but they're also going to have like greater divergences as well. So what they do have in common is like one for one. What they differ on is like completely polar opposites. Is the best way to put it. And so because of that, these different regions, these glades, as they're calling, basically different Azerite colonies are known as glades. And while some regions can have multiple glades in one area, so like for example, Elfin Aryan has I think seven glades. Is it 7 or 13? I believe it's 13. I believe it's 13 glades and seven kindreds. But basically think of glades as like the sub factions. Like these are like the individual Space Marine chapters. And every single like region would be like a different faction of the Imperium, for example, is the best way to put it.
Right,
Like
except every one of them sucks.
they don't all suck. I think fucking I think my least favorite honestly is Talzin. I think Talzin's my least favorite. But the winter one is my favorite. I think the Vault of Winter is my favorite. We'll get to that in a second because I really want to discuss that one. Because that makes the elves fucking seem pretty cool, honestly. It makes the Azrael seem pretty fucking cool. So we'll get to that in a second. But are there any questions so far before we advance a little bit further?
nah. And I think okay, Fuzz is busy taking care of the getting the door off the hinges, so continue.
For sure. And I just want to preface like how different some of them can be because there are some glades of Azrai that are easily willing to like trade and protect with humans. Like again, there are some in Elfin Aryan that will like send out dryads to bait. Like, yeah, you can argue that that is like fucking a little bit manipulative, but it's honestly a pretty like peaceful thing. Like they could have killed the orcs, they could have killed the humans, but they're compromising by allowing the humans like some wiggle room and some liberty to help clear the force of the orcs, right? And then you even have the time that Carl Franz was a baby and Beastmen attacked him. Like Beastmen were gonna kill Carl Franz the baby, and the Wood Elf Glade in the Empire protected him. Can't remember what that one was called, but they protected him when he was a baby moving through Midland. So yeah, but then there were others. There are other glades that would be willing to unleash an orgy of bloodshed and fear onto unsuspecting human communities before performing a follow-up orgy in the ruins and desecrated remains of said village.
Talk about the schizophreniacs. Good lord.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's literally like, oh, these elves protect our small community, our small hovel in the middle of nowhere. And then you have a roving band of fucking hippie murderers.
But you said it's different glades that do it, so some can be friendly and some can be the hippie murderers.
Yeah. You know what?
Okay.
We'll put this in a perspective for like people who want to say start a wood elf army. Right? Like let's say you yourself want to start a wood elf army. Here's what that would be. This is how I'm gonna pitch that to you, I guess. Like, hey, I want to start wood elves. What do I need to do to start wood elves? Okay, well you have glades. Be aware of that. Those are your individual factions. Those can be anywhere on the planet. And then you can see all the other races however you want. You can murder them all for all I care.
Inferior.
Yes, inferior, exactly. Remember, everyone else is inferior. Elves are superior.
Except maybe the Wood Elves.
Yeah, you guys are second class citizens, but like at least you're citizens.
I'll put you in a zoo.
The Wood
In the
Elf or
greenhouse.
Ray?
I don't know. Yet.
Look. If I'm going into any zoo, I'm gonna let you know that it is not gonna be good for anyone else. I'm gonna pull a fucking Rorschach and be like, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me.
And his plan ruined by the humble narcotics put in food.
You know what? I would be very. I can be content with a lot of things. You know what? I think I might stay here. All right. So speaking of staying places for too long, let's get to the Wood Elves more. So how the Wood Elves keep track of time is honestly kind of interesting because they don't keep track of time in terms of years. Like for them, it isn't like the passage of the Earth or I guess the known world around the sun, but for them, they actually keep track of time and dates through seasons, through the change of the seasons. And before any fucking one of you says, isn't that just how you keep track of time? No, you fucking idiots. Because this is the world of Warhammer Fantasy, and specifically the forest of Athaloran, where there are specific groves, specific regions, like literal like parts of the forest that are perpetually trapped in individual seasons. There are some that are trapped in particular at specific points in the day-night cycle. There's a place in Athaloran where it could be the middle of the fucking afternoon. Everywhere else, the second you walk into it, it's 2 a.m. in the fucking morning.
So it's kind of like Mirkwood on steroids.
Yes.
And yes, Taco Bell is still open. No worries.
Fantastic.
Oh, thank God. That you have no idea how much I wanted to hear that. Ugh.
No worries. Azrai Bell is still open.
Oh my God.
Now I gotta find now I gotta get the Taco Bell sound effect added. Thanks a lot.
Azrai Bell is still open. We're gonna build a wall. We're gonna make the Azrai pay for it.
Oh no.
No, wait, we're gonna build a forest and make the Azrai pay for it.
Okay, well, I guess while we're on the subject, I'm glad you're pronouncing Elthan. How Elthan what?
The old
Elfin
world.
Aryan.
You ruined the joke, Toasty. Damn it. Because that was definitely how you spelled it.
It's Ari. It's okay. If you want to say Aryan, fine, but it's not Aryan. It's meant to be like Assyrian, so it's like Aryan.
Just like the rest of their cousins. Superiority complex.
Oh, let's sit here,
Blonde
you
headed
little
with blue
shit.
eyes.
Just wait till I fuck get to the lizardmen, okay? Because look, just because you guys are immoral doesn't mean that everyone likes you.
Lizard.
That should give them more
lizard.
reason to dislike us.
So as I said, because they keep track of the passage of seasons, that's kind of important. However, here's the thing: the Azrai, the Wood Elves, weren't always the Wood Elves. Like they didn't become Wood Elves. All elves, just like how the Druki weren't always the Druki. They were originally just elves, and their race like splintered, right? And what I really
Azuriani
like.
propaganda.
And we were always drinking.
No, no, no. You see, the wood elves aren't elves. They're actually they fell out of the tree. Yeah,
They
so
are
that's
The
trees.
why it's okay to
monkey.
kill them. They aren't actually elves.
Did you say monkey?
They're primates.
Exactly.
Monkey.
That's what I tell my armies in Total War when I invade Orion as Tyrion.
I thought they were trees.
They fuck trees. They might as well.
Oh, and in this situation, Bertonia has already been ran over by Grom the Paunch. So like the horse fuckers aren't in this situation.
You know, preparation for this episode, I thought we were doing like a 2v2 with us versus the two elves in the chat, but obviously that's not the case.
Nonsense. Everyone hates wood elves.
even the wood elves.
Yes, including the wood elves.
The trees don't even like the wood elves, to be completely honest.
I find this so
They
hilarious.
Yes, that's why they hypnotized them and used them as cannon fodder.
Yes, honestly, yes. The trees do use the elves as cannon fodder.
There's a reason
There
why
was
they're
a
literally
point.
called glamoured. They have no idea what the fuck's going on. They think they're at a tea party cutting cake, and they're taking their seax and burying it in the skull of some fucking mortal.
There's literally a point in the lore where where a wood elf community gets attacked by dwarves, specifically because the tree spirits move the forest so that the logging camp of dwarves interacts with the village of elves. The elves were like, "Oh my god, we're being invaded." Meanwhile, the dwarves are like, "Oi, remember the War of the Beard?" And then this fucking happened. And the wood elves won because they outnumbered. They weren't the wood elves, but the elves won because they outnumbered. And then the forest spirits came out and were just like, "Oh my god, are you okay? That was awful. Those darn stupid half short people coming. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? They just attacked you out of nowhere."
Pretty brilliant on the trees part for real.
It honestly was hilarious. When I was reading that, I lost my mind. I was like, "That's fucking hilarious!" Like the trees literally just fucking gaslighting the wood elves and just fucking making them die for them.
Imagine Treebeard just gaslighting Legolas and Thranduil into attacking the Lonely Mountain.
I mean, hang on, let me see. I mean, kind of. That kind of does happen a little
Because
bit with
honestly,
Orion.
that's the way it sounds like.
That kind of happens with Orion. Um, no, fuck, I lost my place. Okay, so before the Wood Elves were the Wood Elves, this period, basically their prehistory, is called the Forgotten Seasons. So these are seasons that the Wood Elves weren't there for, so they weren't there to actually like keep track of that passage of time. So that's just why it's called the Forgotten Seasons. So yes. Let me see places like yeah, okay. So yeah, and there are places like Ariok and Antwith that are notable for their unending summers and winters respectively. So Antwith is the season. So and sorry, Antwyeth, fucking
Okay.
Antwyeth, fucking stupid ass wood elf language. Is the place I was gonna mention. Antwyeth is the glade is the glade of perpetual winter. So it is so basically they only have one season and it's winter. And again, this is in the middle of a forest that is in the middle of like Central Europe, I guess is the best way to put it.
Evergreens, baby.
Yeah, and what's really fun about Antwyeth specifically is do I want to cover that now or do I want to cover that later? Hmm.
No time like the present.
Okay, Antwyeth, let's just say the forest spirits make demons look nice.
Now that's a statement.
Yes.
Yeah. Um yeah, like imagine that all of the worst grim fairy tales that you are familiar with, like fucking like, the old hags, everything like that. That's kind of what Antwyeth is if it was perpetually winter at the same time. Like the spirits there are actively malicious. And like while a lot of spirits are like neutral to like kind of like mostly trying to survive, the Antwyeth forest spirits are deliberately malicious. Like not just to like invaders, but to the inhabitants of it. They are specifically cruel and take great delight in the ways they can like in what they're able to do. Like to them like murdering someone isn't just the act of murder. It's the fact of like I can murder you. I just did. Like it's that level of just like malicious disregard for life.
In Antwerp, winter invades you.
Oh yeah, another thing I should also mention. If you guys remember our Altharian episode, I mentioned the Waystones, like this nexus of basically, like ley lines and everything like that. They basically built these in Antwyeth's center around the Vault of Winter, so the center of the glaive. They built this like ring of stones around it to keep most of the malicious spirits in. And they have to keep maintaining and like repairing and like watching over this like fence, this gate, this like basically this like spiritual, not spiritual, this like paganist gate, this like ring around the vault of winter to make sure no malicious spirits sneak out and like steal people away in the middle of the night or like drive someone insane just on a laugh or like like let's say turning all the water into wine, but instead of turning water to wine, turns all the wine into blood. Like that kind of like fucked up, crazy, like Zichi and Slaneshi shit.
The Tingpez of Nehekara all over again.
Oh. Oh, okay. So, let's see, where was I? Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. So, like I was mentioning the forest spirits, though. So the thing about the Wood Elves and the Azrai is that they aren't like one fact. They aren't just like one race. They aren't just the Wood Elves because they are the Wood Elves, and then they have the spirits of the forest or the spirits of the Great Forest.
Or the trees
And
they fuck, in other words.
in Bretonia, you fuck horses. In Alpha Lauren, you get fucked by the trees.
The Lorax gonna show up, fucking put a shutdown of this shit. I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees.
And the trees say, get on your knees.
That,
It's our turn.
that's a tree?
That's a lot of wood. Uh, all right, so unlike other factions that have like, the hippy dippy, like the forest is alive mentality, in Warhammer Fantasy, these forests are straight up alive. Like they are genuinely alive. and in a way like self-aware and sentient. The thing
And
is, those
assholes.
they're not assholes,
They are
but
absolutely assholes.
Man, this just sounds like Fangorn Forest's like crackhead cousin.
So it isn't every forest that is alive. It is only like select regions that have unique qualities like based around them. Like it isn't like and it isn't every forest in the world is like alive, but there are certain forests like Athaloran and Elfin Arian, not fucking Aaron, that are alive. And it's implied that at one point the forests had roots that stretched across the entire planet, known as world roots. So basically, every one of these, every single living forest was connected through these world roots that literally like create a labyrinth of networking roots that connected all across underneath the surface of the planet.
Well, that just makes me think of Yggdrasil
Yeah,
right there.
it's kind of like Idrisil, and there is an Idrisil allegory in Warhammer Fantasy, which is called the Oak of Ages. It's basically it's like the super tree. Its roots, it's located in Athaloran. It's located at the center of Athaloran, and this massive tree, this Oak of Ages, its roots are connected to every tree in Athaloran, and because Athaloran's world roots stretch all across the world, the Oak of Ages roots are technically every single world root.
Now, would this Oak of Ages also be considered a tree of life?
Um,
Because I'm about to get into some serious tinfoil hat conspiracy with 40K, but that's neither
well,
here nor there.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a forest of life. I wouldn't say it's a tree of life because, like, yeah,
Okay.
it's
We're
it's
good.
it's
We're
the
good. We're
center
good.
of the forest of life, and but like, when you go inside it, you come out a god of death and murder and the hunt, and then you go on a season-long murder spree to every nearby village. So, like, not really a forest, not really a tree of life.
Okay, fair enough.
Tree of life for you, but not the other guy.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
No,
nice
no, no,
tree.
no. You misunderstand. We get to live. It's nothing personal. It's just that we're better than you. I mean, hey, look, hang on. Honestly, though, the elves do get possessed by their gods quite a bit often, right? Like humans, it was just Sigmar and Krell friends, but like the elf, every faction is led by the avatar of one of our gods. So, like, I'm just saying, we might just be better than you guys.
Just because you call your cousin a god doesn't mean he's fucking important.
Just because you call your dad a god doesn't mean he's important.
That's where we'll disagree, okay? Dad trumps cousin every time.
Yeah, but the older one's really your dad.
Yes.
I thought he was talking about Papa Corn, but
You can't deny corn, okay?
I can. It's not going to go very well. Uh, but speaking of the old ones, because they are relevant to the story and specifically to the Oak of Ages. Um, while it wasn't clear exactly what brought the forest like to life, like why were these specific forests like alive? Like why is Athol Lauren like alive? Why are the forests in Nagaroth and Cathay alive? Like why is that the case? It's heavily suspected to have been the work of the old ones. Like,
okay,
oh,
all
Gesundheit.
right. I know you're allergic to bullshit, Toasty, but come on.
It wasn't even me. How dare you?
It's heavily suspected the old ones like create like basically it's heavily suspected the old ones were the ones who planted the first trees that were alive that came to life. But there's a problem with this theory, a really big one. Um, and
Elves
that
not
is
being
that
able to
the old
accept it.
ones they had no interest in teaching the forest spirits. Like again, think about this. The old ones created the elves, right? They created the elves first. They educated the elves, realized the elves weren't what they were looking for, created the dwarves, and then created the humans. And then when they fucked up on all of that, they created the halflings and they created the ogres, right? But the thing is, they had all this time to engage with the wood, with the forest, with the tree spirits, right? They had all this time to engage with them, but they never did. We'll get to Dorothy in a second because he's really fucking important to the wood elves and to just like the concept of the series in general. But like he met with the old ones, and they showed no interest in teaching him anything and educating him in how to fight chaos. So, in my opinion, I can't say the old ones were in any way involved, like unless they were just like really like unless they really thought that the trees were just that self-sufficient that they didn't have to teach them. But like even then that raises a lot more questions. But yeah, and the thing is that like a part of me kind of thinks that they're like that the old ones didn't create them and that they were just kind of naturally occurring. And like one of the reasons why I think they're like the trees just woke up one day is because a lot of these forests, like a lot of these living forests, are based on like currents of natural energy. So like for anyone who's watched our Winds of Magic episode, think of it like that. Like there are these like okay. You guys remember the temple cities that the old ones built?
Yes.
Those nice cities we built for you guys.
Um, so because these things were able to basically they created like a network of geomantic energy, like basically the energy of planets. It was like a current that moved across the planet. And what happened was that these currents of natural energy were known to intersect and collide in some locations. One of which being the location where Athelorn is located. Like it's just a massive hotspot for natural energy because so many currents of natural energy just pass over that one area. And like either that's intentional by the old ones because that's how they create these living forests and they just let them just propagate on their own, not even being involved in them in any way, or the old ones just unintentionally create one of the best counters to chaos ever. like I really want to specify because yeah, in fucking Antwieth, I mentioned that the forest spirits are worse than chaos. But the forest spirits are shockingly impressive and like incredibly capable at fighting off chaos. Like
Well,
like
how's the saying
sus-
go? Sometimes to do some good, you got to be the bad guy.
like they are suspiciously potent at fighting chaos. And like, you know what? That's kind of a good quote, Gerald.
It's a happy little accident.
um But yeah, so you had the Oak of Ages that was the oldest of these trees. But it wasn't just the only ones, right? Because like how do I put this?
So basically, like where all the currents are flowing and like in these certain nexuses, these certain points where it's just like really concentrated. That's like why there's only some forests that are alive. It's not like every forest on the known world is living, breathing with tree spirits or whatnot.
Yeah, there was a point though where because like basically what happens is that when these intersect, these forests become alive. But these forests are also able to grow on their own. So for example, Athel Lawrence Forest, which if you guys don't know, is just located between the Gray Mountains and some other mountains. But they are to the east of Bretonia. At one point, all of what was Bretonia and I think Estalia was Athelloran Forest. Like that entire continental like sliver was a single forest, was a single living forest that grew out of where Athelloran is now. But over time, because of just the progress of society, of humanity, of all the other races, and everything that happened over the course of literally like tens of thousands of years, the forest of Athelloran got to the point where it is now, where it's basically just it's back to where it naturally grew from and not where it expanded to.
Because I was gonna say, like, if all the forests were this living, breathing entity, the Empire would have been screwed. Because I've seen the maps. There's a lot of forests in the Empire.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. There is a lot of forests in the Empire. Like I think all of Midland is a forest.
Yeah, but between
Midland,
like
some of Altdorf,
yeah,
not
but
Altdorf,
in the,
Altdorf City, Reichland, all of Telebachland. Like Telebachland is literally named after the god of forests, Tal. Like it is a fucking like province of forests.
you don't hear about the trees coming alive there. Like
No,
between
well,
beastmen, bray herds, freaking orcs and goblins, and then
Don't forget the
uh
Skaven.
and yes. Freaking Echo's like tweaking out somewhere in the basement right now, probably.
yeah. Yeah, so that's actually a very good question, Jill. Because I'm assuming you're gonna ask why, like, why it's not like that everywhere, right?
But yeah, you mean you kind of answered that with the whole like the currents of energy
Yeah,
concentrating in certain points. So that was what I figured at least.
yeah, like they can expand outwards, and they do. It's just that oftentimes, like, if nothing stopped them, the entire planet would be one giant living forest. Like, if you want to specify that the possibility for the entire planet to be that way did exist. But the problem is that because of just the march of history and progress, there was no way for the forests to properly combat the expansion of technology, of industry. So, like,
So when Sigmar and or sorry, no, was it Snorri and Malekith were burning down the forests? No,
yeah,
that's Sigmar. That was Sigmar. He was burning down the forest.
Sigmar also burned down the forest.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah, okay, so when all of them were burning down the forests too, that also uh
that
helped
contributed
mitigate.
against it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. Oh, I should also mention another thing about these world routes. Um, they make it possible to basically fast travel. Like, you can using the world
Elaborate.
routes. You can, using the world routes, move through the forest, and any other forest that is connected by the world routes, you can appear in that forest. Like it's imagine walking into a clearing inside your local forest, and you just keep walking straight. And then as you walk through the
Lionel
clearing and
Johnson
you
ass
go,
shit.
I was thinking the same exact thing. His forest walk or whatever.
yeah, literally the Lion's Forest Walk, the exact same thing.
I just walked through Caliban. Bitch.
I mean, basically, Athelorn is basically what happens if you combine Caliban with Catachan.
You're just mad because the lion decapitated your other daddy.
Look.
Oh no, not
Bullshit.
Angrath. I mean Angron. Those are totally two different characters.
I will shit on both your graves.
I'll outlive you, bitch.
Are you functionally
You'll
immortal?
starve before I die of old age.
No
Joke's on
worries. All you
you.
have to do is wait till he starves to death.
Exactly.
Look, I'll eat the fucking elf before I starve to death.
But if he's a Croxagore and they're immortal, but he's also a demon Croxagore, so he's like doubly immortal, some shit like that.
Okay, no. I'll give him the finger. That's my holy relic. Fucking, I don't need to form the Aquila. I just need to give you the fucking finger.
As long as Papa
But yeah,
Corn sends me back, it's fine.
so yeah, that's basically how, like, literally, it's the forest walk. It's literally forest walk. So, like, for example, like there are parts of these forests where you can walk through it, and it's like every part. It's almost like you exist across all the forests. Like you can be in a clearing, and like this clearing, almost like fucking Schrodinger's forest, is like the same clearing in multiple forests across the planet. So that's one of the weirdest things you can do is you can like exist in multiple forests at the same time. And like depending on what path you take, you could find yourself going down the northern. You could find yourself like going down the paths, end up in the northern jungles of so India, and then you could go down another path and end up in the southlands of Lustria. Another path could take you to fucking Kislev for all you know, right? Like there's so many ways that like just the same fucking clearing could end you up in so many different parts of the known world.
Pororsun!
And the earliest points I guess one of the earliest points was around 10,000 years before Sigmar was born. So this would be around 35,000 years ago, about not 35,000. 12,500 years prior. I know I was wrong. And this is when the forest really started to come to life. And there's another thing that's important about this date is that this was 10,000 for Sigmar, but this was also 5,000 years before the first invasion of Chaos. So this is when that would be when the polar gates fractured and Chaos first invaded the world. So alongside the Oak of Age, there were other forest spirits that were like living inside the woods and coming to life, right? And what they would do is they would literally like shed their bark, almost like almost like butterflies hatching from cocoons. They would literally shed their bark in the same way, and they would twist their branches, and they would literally like they would basically pull their own roots out of the ground to wander across the planet. And the oldest of these trees the oldest of these walking trees were like I call them the Trents because I find that fucking hilarious because they're fucking ents.
Nutrients.
And another word for the Trents is the Tree Lords, and these are where you get your your tree beard type characters. So Gerald, what describe Treebeard, and then I'll tell you how close or how far you are from a tree lord.
Like a 30-foot tall, literal 30-foot tall tree with like a green beard and suspiciously sounds like Gimli. Because it's played by the same actor. Anyways.
So close. Tree lords do have humanoid bodies, but they typically have like canine faces, clawed or gnarled fingers, and they can command ancient and raw magics that even like the elves, like even we have to acknowledge that the magic they have is older and probably slightly more powerful.
They're tree bloodletters.
So they were there when the deep magic was written.
Yes, they were there when the deep magics were written. But now let me get this because you have the tree lords, right? These guys are awesome. But here's the thing about the tree lords. They didn't all wake up at the same time because above all the tree lords, the oldest of them all was Durthu. So Durthu. And he is a true schizophrenia. Well, not really. He definitely does have mental problems though in the current setting. Because Durthu is honestly very closely linked with the race of the Wood Elves, and I don't want to say he's an allegory for the race itself, but his character progression.
Just taking a moment to
Where's
pull these up because these models do look pretty sick.
yes, I don't see Durthu at the moment.
I don't think he's
It's
on
right there.
here.
There's a tree lord. There's a tree man. That's not a tree lord. Tree men are big. Tree lords are bigger than that. Man, that is definitely an old world mini. But yeah. Oh my God, it's a tree dragon. That's
That's
too green.
definitely an older sculpt.
Yeah. But yeah, so Durthu is the oldest of the forest spirits. He's the oldest of the tree lords. And he's like the big brother slash like uncle to every other tree lord. Like for every tree, like all the tree lords did wake up, but none of them woke up before Durthu. But another thing that separates Durthu from all the other ones is he was the most curious. That's the best way to put Durthu. Is that where all the other tree lords would awaken and they kind of just wandered across their immediate vicinity and kind of just didn't really take much stock and awareness in the outside world beyond their immediate vicinity. Like, maybe just like what would be your property, what would be your land, would be what the tree lords had access to. Like maybe like I don't know, maybe a little plot of land that they would have access to, and they ruled over it almost like feudal lords in a way, feudal lords slash protectors of these lands. Durthu, however, wasn't content with just, staying in one place. He actually explored, and as he did, he encountered other tree lords. And as he met with them, he would learn that he was the oldest one. Like, hey, when did you wake up 3 days ago? Oh, I've been up for like 3 weeks. And he learned that he was the oldest one. And every tree lord that met Durthu was inspired by his desire to wander, and they themselves would begin exploring themselves. Now, none of them would explore as much as Durthu, but he was the one that really set the chain of events that allowed the Tree Lords to become an actual culture. Because in a way, if wasn't for him, it's uncertain if any Tree Lords would have actually stretched beyond their immediate vicinity and just met with their neighbor and like actually formed, a relationship and found others of their kind in a way. And it's because of this that Durthu was given the nickname the Wanderer by his own people because of how much he would wander and travel along the world routes. And
Sounds like bullshit. He's just making stuff up to feel like he's the fucking most important person. Oh, you've been up for a week? Oh, yeah, it's like 3 years, bro.
yeah, I've been way older than you.
You bunch of fucking
Oh.
young pups. Follow me.
I just realized, do I sound better?
You sound louder.
So,
Oh.
Yeah. You sound louder, but you don't sound any clearer. But either one is fine.
The stupid wood elves switched my microphone.
They heard you
They
talking shit about
glamored
him.
it.
They did.
It wasn't a microphone; it was a dildo.
Those damn Keeblers.
No. Oh my god.
I am now
Fucking
down to
get
one
you.
brain cell.
I'm gonna
Congratulations.
get to you, Toast. I'm gonna fucking get to your lizard man ass. Any questions on Durthu before I continue?
This sounds like the kind of conversation that that Necron overlords would have when waking up. Like, how long have you been awake?
Yeah.
2,000 years, bitch. I've been alive for 10,000.
Oh yeah, prove it.
Yeah. That's why Trazen collects
Um,
stuff, so he can be like, no, look, see, I was here.
What's the counter say on how long he's been awake? It's over 9,000.
Honest, Durthu has been alive for over 9,000 years. He's 10,000. No, he's fucking 12,000 years old. But yeah, so Durthu would actually, the thing about Durthu is that he wouldn't just travel the world routes and meet with tree lords from all across the world, right? Because he would go to like every living forest, right, to meet with their tree lords. But he didn't stop at just meeting the tree lords, because like despite the stigma that the other tree lords had of the outside world of basically what was beyond their forests, Durthu would leave his forest and he would meet with the other races that were just beyond the borders of his forests. And this allowed Durthu to actually develop opinions and gain knowledge and experience of those races through the ones that he came in contact with. And here's the thing, Toasty, Durthu disliked the old ones and lizard men.
Because he was wrong.
Durthu viewed the old ones as pretentious and the lizard men as poor conversationalists.
We don't have anything to say to you. Fucking tree. They use you for firewood.
Like, that's fucking hilarious. Like, Durthu is just like, wow.
These lizards don't speak.
Lizard.
Like, you have to, like, Durthu was just that guy. He would meet with him. He's like, oh, excuse me, dwarf. Tell me everything about your culture. What is your name? And then Durthu comes up to like a fucking Croxagore. Hello, fellow living being. How are you? He just walks away. He just goes back to doing what it's doing.
Fuck off, tree.
That fucking sucked. And like you would see the old ones, like literal fucking space gods, fucking space toads, moving the planet closer to the sun and shit. And he's just like, these guys are assholes.
Because he was wrong, okay? That's why we need to burn down the trees.
Like, it's just funny to think about the idea of like you seeing your God and his angels, and you're just like, yeah, you're a fucking asshole, and you're fucking pretentious as fuck. Fuck you.
To be fair, that's how 90% of people see Space Marines.
Yeah, fair. Um, the dwarves, however, you guys weren't any fucking better to Dirth. You guys didn't make him feel any better.
Nor should they have.
Because Dirthu, on the few occasions that he would interact with the dwarves, because again, like the dwarves live in their fucking mountains, the world roots aren't really gonna pierce mountains on the rare occasions they do. So when he would meet with the dwarves, it was a lot of like it was like a cold war almost, where like Dirthu would always be like, "Stop chopping on the forest! Like those people, those are living beings," and like Dirthu saw the dwarves as like they couldn't appreciate the life of the forest and just saw it as lumber, as timber, as fucking firewood and building materials. That's all they, in his mind, he saw the dwarves as like unimaginative and unappreciative of like nature and life itself.
We like plenty of nature. It's called rock and stone.
I mean, look, on the bright side, he didn't hate you as much as he hated the greenskins.
Well, who doesn't?
I was
Because
gonna
like because like Dorothy was like, look, I don't like the dwarves. They cut down our forests and use them to make firewood. But at the very least, they use them to make log cabins occasionally. The orcs just fucking burn down the trees and don't even use them for firewood half the time. Like it's really like it's like you dwarves are just like the orcs in so many ways, but you're just better enough for me not to hate you.
Because we actually use it for shit.
But you know what's really funny about Darethu? It took him the longest to learn about the elves, despite them being the first race to be created.
not very memorable.
Well, in his defense, the High Elves are on Uthwan, which is a floating island. So like it doesn't touch the surface of the ocean. So there's no way the world roots could reach it. And because Durthu can only travel via the world routes, he couldn't reach Uthwan to learn about it. The only time he did learn about it is during the time when the High Elves were like on Uthwan and were like exploring beyond their like before the coming of chaos, before Narian the hero, Narian defender saved Uthwan, the elves did actually branch off of Uthwan and go to like the lands of Nagaroth and the old world to Elfin Aryan, and they would occasionally come back to Uthwan with like treasures and exports from these like outside lands. And one of the things that they would bring back occasionally was flora and fauna. And so because of that, one of the things they brought back were like exotic plants from the forests of Athel Loren. And when this flora was brought to Uthwan, it was specifically brought to the province kingdom of Averlorn. Averlorn is we'll get to Averlorn in a second. I'll get to it in a second. But what happened was that when Averlorn got access to this flora, it made it possible for the world roots to connect on Uthwan and for Durthu to actually learn about it. Like Durthu was aware of the high elves on the mainland. Like, other tree lords would tell Durthu, "Oh, there are these outsiders on our coast, but we don't talk to them or anything.
They smell funny.
They smell funny." Now, I've seen two instances of how Dorothy met the High Elves. The first one was that it was an accident. That the High Elves brought Flora back to Uthwan, which was then planted in Averlorn's soil, which then connected the world roots to Uthwan. But I've seen another case where it was Durthu who actually convinced or tricked the High Elf explorers to bring back Flora to Averlorn, so he could basically sneak onto the island.
Sneaky fucking cucks.
Sneaky tricksy hobbitses.
Because again, as long as there's like as Dorothy can travel through the world routes, and so they're just like, oh, bring this flower back to your homeland.
Take
I
this.
can
It's
visit your
beautiful.
homeland now, bitch.
I will not be watching you through this.
Yeah.
He's the creepy fucking Airbnb guy.
Basically. But the thing
His whole new
about
name to the
Durthu,
hills have eyes.
basically, the thing about Durthu though is that he didn't do this out of maliciousness. Like he didn't like, because like again, he was a curious man. He was a wandering spirit. So like his intention wasn't to like, oh, I want to sneak onto Averlorn or sneak onto Uthwan. And then like destroy Averlorn from the inside out. He genuinely wanted to visit the High Elves and to learn about them. And like,
Twins?
oh, let me learn about them. Maybe they'll be better ally. Maybe like we can make contact with them. Maybe they're better than the dwarves. And
Well,
like
it's easy, yeah.
it's not a high bar to pass. I mean, it's not they're
I know your true name, Toasty. I can banish you whenever I want.
I'll be back.
it's
remember
not
that.
it's not
I'll be
it's not a
back.
high bar to pass, let's just say that. So and another part of it was the fact that even if the elves were somehow worse than the orcs, which we can't be, we're fucking elves, are you kidding me? Even if they
Or
could,
pretty close.
there was no harm in them having Averlorn plan life because Durthu and the forest spirits can move across the world routes. Elves cannot. So it would almost be, to use very interesting terminology, it would basically be like having a chaos rift in Averlorn that only the forest spirits can have access to. They could literally launch a full-scale, uncontested, one-side invasion of Uthwan if they wanted to, if they believed the High Elves were truly as bad or worse than the orcs. Now, that was not the case because elves are fucking amazing, aren't we?
Of course we are.
Of
What
course.
did you expect?
But yeah, let's cover Averlorn. So, Averlorn, like Uthwan itself is like a combination of Atlantis and the Garden of Eden. I mentioned this before because like imagine if Uthwan was like 50-50, like 50% Garden of Eden, 50% Atlantis. Averlorn is where it splits to about 25-75. It's 25% Atlantis, 75% Garden of Eden. And the thing is that the people of Averlorn, while other nations like Lothran, Krace, Illyrian, Kalidor, Nagarythe, hang on, hang on, I don't want to lose, I don't want to get my thing revoked. Ivress, fuck, I lost count where I'm at.
And you failed.
The one with the white tower, the one with the blue tower. The one that always gets invaded by fucking Marathi. Regardless, so Averlorn was a place that where other exports from the continents would be like spices, treasures, the more typical treasures that you would find from like at a port nation, like at an island nation. Averlorn was known for its treasures being flora and fauna from other nations. So they had, in an extent, every type of plant that can be found anywhere in the world had a place in Averlorn's gardens. Like you could find any type of plant here because of how rich and pure the soil was, because of the climate, the conditions, just the sheer amount of life energy and life magic that flowed through Averlorn made it so that almost anything was induced could be grown and like survive here and climatize here. And it was because of this. It was almost because of this appreciation that the elves of Averlorn had that Durthu and all the forest spirits who were aware of them actually took an almost instant liking to these elves in particular. Like it was like, oh, the elves are pretty cool. They're pretty they're pretty ingenious. They're pretty smart. They're like not too violent. They're honestly pretty naive and innocent. But the people of Avalorn, those are my guys. Those are my buddies, kind of thing. And he also viewed them as long-lived, but not slow to change. Like he saw a lot of potential in the elves, not just in the fact of like, oh, these could be great allies, but like our partnership could be something that is incredible. And he actually viewed the elves as, well, a very proud race. They weren't arrogant. His opinion would change, however, as things would go on if that wasn't if that wasn't obvious.
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah. But the thing is that Durthu, being very like a lot of more spirits, being very appreciative of the kingdom of Avalorn, grew close to the people of Avalorn naturally. And Durthu, being effectively the faction leader of the forest spirits, would actually meet with the faction leader of Avalorn. I've not, they were friends. So this is where Durthu would meet Asteriel, the fucking one of the hottest elves ever. She is the Queen of Avalorn, otherwise known as the Ever Queen of the Elves. And
Does she
she's the
have
only
daddy
other
issues?
person, according to Durthu, who can actually match his admiration and love for life. Which is crazy. Like Durthu is a fucking tree person who is brothers slash siblings to hundreds, if not thousands, of other tree people. And his thought is like, yeah, only Asteriel can match my admiration for love for life.
It's fucking poison ivy.
Sounds like some high elf propaganda.
High elf propaganda. Give me that high elf propaganda
Yes.
right to my fucking veins.
Yeah.
And anyway, who cares what a talking tree thinks? It's stupid.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Oh my god, just fucking wait till fucking the Heralds of Valerial show up in your fucking backyard, Tungs.
Great, I'll throw them out to the sea.
So it was actually through their friendship, through Asteriel and Durthu's friendship, that the elves actually were given the secrets of of magic and lores from the Great Forest. Like Asteriel was such a fucking like Chad and such a friend to Durthu that she convinced the forest spirits, the people who are probably some of the most like secretive people, some of the most like not self-centered but isolationist species in the entire fantasy setting, to share knowledge and to teach her people their secrets. And this allowed them to, it basically turned Avalorn already into like the Garden of Eden into like the Garden of Eden plus.
Do they eat a fruit and get punished for it?
No,
Oh,
No, they are the fruits.
they are
Hey.
there.
honestly, well, okay. To be completely honest, Asteriel does do a little Eve situation later on. And Durthu, while a tree, does tell her it's probably not a good idea to do, and there will be consequences if she does this. Now, in Asteriel's defense, unlike Eve, who takes impulsivity to the next fucking level and takes a fucking bite of the apple like a fucking idiot, Asteriel does consider the long term consequences. So, like, we'll just put it that way. Asteriel's not that bad. She's not Eve anyway. But the thing about Durthu and what Avalon was becoming, Durthu straight up admitted that if they continue to propagate and promote life and light magic in Avalorn, that Avalorn might become a second Oak of Ages. Like a second Oak of Ages could potentially form in Avalorn.
So there's two trees alive.
There
Are
could
these
have
turning
been.
into the hist?
There could have been. There could there
Oh.
yes, kind of the hist. Honestly, this is a pretty good comparison. Yeah.
Call the lizard
Basic.
people back.
So yeah, Durthu was like, there could be a second floor, a second form here. And oh wait, hang on, give me 1 second. I gotta pee fast. I just did not realize I could that bad pee.
The Whoopstone High has gotten to him.